This is the greenhouse. These are bulbs that I have planted called amaryllis bulbs. Two of them there have flower stalks coming up. Difficult for me to see if the light is correct or not. It's so bright outside, it's 60 degrees outside. These are geraniums, kept from last year. In the black pots are purple plants called Purple Heart that we grew from cuttings. I just recently put them in bigger pots. This is a fern of some kind. And here are some green, purple and white plants that are similar to the purple plant. Down here on the floor, these plants, there are three of them I'm looking here. These are plants in big pots called, they're bulbs that are called clivias. They have orange flowers. Next to it here is a staghorn fern. And some little succulent plants called hens and chicks. And some other ones back here. There's an aloe vera. And here's this beautiful, beautiful orchid. Called a cymbidium orchid. It is considered a terrestrial orchid because it grows, I can show you right there, it grows in dirt or in potting soil instead of in bark like most orchids live in. You can see how beautiful the flowers are. This particular one has 4 stalks on it of flowers. One I just showed you, there's 2, and there are 2 more over here. Next to it is another one that has not bloomed yet. And this is just a pot of different kinds of ferns. Here's the other cymbidium orchid, completely different color, but same type of flowers as you can see. They're white with kind of a purple speckled throat. They are very big. This one has, once again, it has 4 stalks. There's 1. There's 2 curving over the top. There's another one going out the side, kind of down underneath the greenhouse bench. And another one going down toward the ground. Most of its blooms are not open yet. Maybe it's not getting enough light. It's hard to tell, but they bloom a little bit at a time. And these are different kinds of cactuses and succulents. The big, tall, thin plant is a cirrus. It's a night blooming cactus. Has real pretty smelling flowers at night. See some of the different kinds of cactus. There's a big barrel cactus. A flat one with real stickery spines on it. This one here is called a quadrangularis because it has 4 sides to it. There's kind of a square cactus you can see. This one is called a paper cactus. It doesn't have any paper things on it yet. There's another one somewhere that does. There it is. There's another paper cactus right there. You can see the paper pieces on it. And there are these sansevierias, several different kinds. There, another aloe vera. Here's another sansevieria. Scoot back so you can see it. There are many different kinds of cactus. Little dish gardens of cactus and individual plants. There's a pretty one that's kind of red. Green and red. Red edges. Looks like it has little teeth on it. There's one that's real kind of little sticks with little knobs on the end of them that are the leaves. We have one that's kind of twisted looking like a brain. This one here, which is kind of on sticks with variegated leaves that are kind of greenish and purple. And this one, which is called a pencil cactus. There are many different kinds of cactus. Back here in the back of the greenhouse is a bougainvillea, grown in the south and southwestern parts of the United States. There's another one there that has just a few blooms on it. It's a little bit different color. Some of these plants, like this one, I have cut back for the winter time. That's why they don't have hardly any leaves on them. That will promote good growth, more growth in the springtime. Like this one, you can see where the branches are cut off. The plant with the big green and white leaves is a variegated rubber tree plant, and it is a rubber tree plant. If you cut it on the stem, it will ooze a latex-like white milky substance out of it like a rubber tree. This is a plant that I got in New Mexico. It is kind of a yellow, has little yellow flowers. Without looking, I don't even remember the name of it, but this is another hibiscus that I have cut off. There are several of those. This plant, which I will get a close-up picture of it for you, is a passion flower plant. There's one of its blooms. It's a big vine on the trellis. This is another bougainvillea, which is a yellow one, or turns gold. Starts out kind of yellowish white, like that, and turns gold as the plant flowers get older. All along the rack, the top of the greenhouse, is a pole that hangs down that has baskets of plants on it. Lighten it up here so you can see some of them. And there are ferns and different kinds of plants hanging there. They have automatic watering systems on them. That's what these tubes are right here. Get a hold of one. This tube right here has a weight on it to hold it in the plant. You see it wiggling around there. It hangs in the basket, and I have a timer and a valve, and it comes on automatic. Some of these big plants in the center are plants that I'm taking care of for other people. One of them is a client of mine. Other ones are for a woman who cuts my hair. This is a banana tree. Here, hardy banana tree, although I don't have it planted outside. It would. Everything from here about 3/4 of the way down, and I'll show you where it ends, are orchids. They have a white pipe above them with a missing nozzle. They are also on a timer. I'll go over here. There are the valves. They are electric. That's where the wires go. The wires go over here to a timer box, which is just a sprinkler timer box. And it is set. I have it set so that it will run ever so often for so many hours. The whole greenhouse I built myself. Put the plastic on it. I did all the electrical wiring, the gas pipes and the water pipes. It has water right there. There's a water spigot right there. It comes up out of the ground. And then out of the ground is where this pipe is hooked for the sprinklers, or for the misting systems, and to water the baskets. I wired up everything. It's all automatic. Pretty much everything is automatic. The fan at the back, which you can hear the noise of the fan and see it that it's open. It comes on by a thermostat automatically. There's a fan up above right there. It's on, just plugged in. It runs during the winter time to help circulate the heat around the top of the greenhouse, to keep the top of the greenhouse from being real hot. But you can see all of the orchids. There's one of the pretty pink ones with kind of a hot pink center or lip to it. Here's the one's a little bit different. It's pink. This one I kind of call buttercup because it kind of looks like buttercups down inside, like it has butter inside of it. It's really pretty. It has a lot of blooms on it. It will bloom for a long time. Here's one that is dark red. I'm trying to lighten the picture, but it's it's so dark you can hardly even see the flower, or the pieces of the flower, parts of the flower. It's really dark red. There's another one that's just got smaller purple looking flowers on them. There's one back in the back that has white flowers. There are others that are getting ready to bloom, like this one here. Has a few little blooms on it. There's a peach color one right over here. Let me see if I can get the camera through here. Kind of see the picture of that one. That one's really pretty. Pull it back out. There are other plants. Here's another bougainvillea. This one is kind of a pink one that turns to pinkish orange. When it gets a little older, you can see the older blooms here that are more of a pinkish orange color. This is a Chef Lyra plant that belongs to a client of mine. There's another Sansevieria, or a snake plant it's called. It's also called a mother-in-law tongue. This plant is very similar. This is a plant, it's not blooming at the moment. It was. It's called yellow bells. This is a hibiscus with always seems to be blooming, huge double orange blooms, the red center, or yellow center, excuse me. And as you can see, there are cactuses hung up here. There's the heater in the background. There are cactuses hung up right here. There's another one there. They do not have a watering system in them because I don't want them to get too much water. This one hangs down, as you can see, way down here. This red plant, get back away from it, out of the sun. It's called a Hawaiian tea plant, T-I. And it has this plant in the bottom of it for some reason. Here's another bougainvillea plant which has purple blooms. And once again, you see the fan, it's rotating. It's sucking out, keeping the greenhouse cool. Even though it's winter time, there's a lot of sun today. But these are a lot of the cactuses. Some of the more interesting ones like that. There's that. This is one that just started blooming, and it's called, it's a sansevieria, but it's round. The leaves, instead of being flat like the other ones, are round. And it, as you can see, has a bloom coming out of it. The bloom is not a big deal. It just means it's getting older and old enough to do that. There's kind of a nice plant there. Lighten it up a little bit. There's another kind of a barrel cactus type of thing. This is another one of those night blooming cactuses on a Sirius. Here's a cactus that has kind of grown however it wants to. It's real knobby, it's gone real long. So it's gone clear up here to the greenhouse wall. And then another part of it is grown way back down here on the bench. There's another odd but cool looking cactus. Another brain type cactus. Nice and fuzzy sharp one that will stick you really good if you touch it. This plant is called a Hawathia truncata. I've grown many of these from dividing them up, growing them up here. This plant is called a gasteria. This one is called a living rock. Part of the reason why is because it's hard like a rock. It doesn't, almost really, it's real flat, so it looks like a rock. So many other ones here. Here's a little cactus I just found. Ouch! One of them just stuck me. It's blooming. It has little daisy type blooms. It's done really well. There's another one of those quadrangularis. There's a baby of a paper cactus that I started. It's doing well. That's how I start them. I just cut them off, or some of them get knocked off or broken off, and they get started that way. You can see back through this part of the greenhouse, there's a lot of ferns. A lot of plants, but it's an overview of the greenhouse. This is the potting bench where I work on plants. I made this, a hole in it for trash to go in the middle, a spot underneath for a bucket to put potting soil in. This barrel over here has a water mixed with fertilizer. It's a watering bucket for it. And then this cabinet over here has chemicals and supplies in it. Alright, there you go.